In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, who came to us in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, to whom all praise is due, and I forever thank Allah for raising up in our midst our beloved messenger, Messiah, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and we can never thank him enough for leaving his servant in our midst, the most honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Welcome to the Journal of Truth. I'm your brother Sami Muhammad, and we are here to continue the life-giving teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And as always, we are so very thankful for each and every one of you, brothers and sisters, for tuning in to the Journal of Truth. Unity is the key. Listen what God's messenger has given us with regards to unity. He calls it a thought on unity. Since Allah, God, did not come to us quarreling, why should we quarrel? We must recognize and respect his love for us and not let him hear us quarreling and disrespecting his presence. Proudness is a sickness. This is why we are divided. We will be one or nothing. The more you learn, the less you seek advantage. Don't be careful that you agree on right, but be careful that you don't agree on wrong. Don't withhold your good just because another withholds his good. You do your part. Greeting a Muslim is binding upon you. If you do not, your mind is not right. The right medicine for the disease in our heart is the Spirit of Allah. Fear is the worst enemy of man. When you find a man that doesn't fear, that is the winner. These are the words of our beloved messenger, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And again, this teaching is called A Thought on Unity. Let us set aside our differences as God's messenger has taught us to do and unite together, brothers and sisters. The time is at hand. You all are bearing witness that we are living in the day of judgment based upon the different things that we are seeing during this time. All praise is due to Allah. So here with me on the Journal of Truth is my great brother, Brother Norman Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Walaikum salam, sir. How you feeling today?
Excellent. How you doing, Brother Norman?
Tremendously well, brother.
All praise is due to Allah. All praise is due to Allah. And the time is at hand, so I want to hear from our great brother Norman Muhammad and see what Allah has put on his heart to bring to us this evening.
Well, Brother Sammy, I'm reading from the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He talks from the Holy Quran and the Bible.
Yes, sir.
And he talks about America's determination is to try and keep the so-called Negroes from believing in the true God, Allah, and the true religion, Islam. He said, the Holy Quran says, "O you who believe, take not my enemy and your enemy for friends, would offer you love, to offer them love while they deny the truth that has come to you, driving out the messenger and yourselves because you believe in Allah, your Lord." It says the Holy Quran refers to America in this kind of a way, this kind of prophecy. See, when her doom comes, there will come one calamity after another. As soon as she thinks that she's getting over the shore made by a previous calamity, another one strikes. There's so many calamities that are happening in America every day.
That's right.
With the weather, with mines killing other mines. How can a woman or a man, women killing their husbands, husbands killing wives, right in their homes, and outside children killing their mothers and fathers? These are calamities, you know. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that Master Farad Muhammad told him that this would happen.
Yes, sir.
And it's happening today in 2018, you know. And so by all these murders and calamities that are happening, the weather, the storms. They had a storm in Atlanta, Georgia a couple of days ago. Hurricane. Not a hurricane, not a hurricane, but a tornado. Right on the south side of Atlanta. All right? So people felt the wind blowing and the building shaking, it didn't destroy too much, but it did destroy something because they wasn't expecting that to happen. So our people have to realize that this is the day that we're living in, and it's not the end of the earth or the end of uh, the sun going down and staying down, but it's the end of a world that a man has been, or civilization has been so long in mistreating people. And the main people that they mistreat is the black man in America, the so-called Negro, whether they believe it or not. They were stolen and brought here
Yes, sir.
and made to think that they were the slave master's children. Black people think that they're white, and white people know that they're black, and they don't like them. Now the black man has the slave master's wife. Slave master always had the slave, you know. So all these calamities that are happening in America is believable, although our people think that they're unbelievable and they don't want to face the fact, brother.
Yes, sir. Well, we all know that the Honorable Louis Farrakhan told us to watch the weather.
Yes, sir.
And there, to bear witness what you're saying, there's so much going on with the weather. They say it's spring right now, but it's 29 degrees this morning
Right,
when
freezing.
I went outside. So
Yes,
it's
sir.
below freezing in March, and they say we're in springtime. So, brothers and sisters, it's important to understand the words of God's servant in our midst, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. He's going over and repeating that which the Honorable Elijah Muhammad had already taught us.
Yes, sir.
The book, The Fall of America, you all should get a copy of it, where the messenger of God speaks about the various calamities and the judgments that Allah, God, would bring down upon America. I want to share with you this evening, those of you, you hear us talking about Elijah Muhammad, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the messenger of God. I want to share with you from this great book, Message to the Black Man in America. And it's found on page 44 of Message to the Black Man in America. The messenger's subject is, if the civilized man fails to perform his duty, what must be done? As I quote, he says, the duty of the civilized man is to teach civilization to the uncivilized, the arts and sciences of civilized people and countries of advanced civilization. A divine messenger of God, Allah, raised among his people with the divine message, is held responsible for its delivery. His message teaches spiritual civilization, which is important to the success of a nation and society. According to history, the people who refuse to accept divine guidance or his message sent by his messengers are classified as uncivilized or savages. Now, these are the words of God's messenger, brothers and sisters. Now, we have been taught in our lessons that a savage is one that has lost the knowledge of himself and who's living a beast life. So it puts us in that category as black people here in America, being raised by white people who are in fact the enemies of God and the righteous. We have adopted many of their characteristics and personalities by being raised up by them. They control our economics. They control our sociology. They give us their history, the history of our people as their slaves. But so in the mercy of Almighty God, he raises up a messenger and sends him to us, brothers and sisters, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He is a divine messenger of God, and this is what he has done. And the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is continuously teaching these great teachings. So we want you to lay hold to the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. If you do not have this book, black man and black woman, get you a copy of Message to the Black Man in America. Now, we want you to understand, sisters, that this is the title of the book, Never to Think That the Message is Not to You. For the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that a nation can only rise as high as its woman. So we're not going anywhere without you, our beloved, beautiful black sisters, because you all are born in our natural books. You see, our first lesson come from our mothers, right? Our mothers are our first nurse. You see, and our first teachings are coming from our mothers. So it's important for the black man here in America, brothers, that we understand who she is and treat her with the utmost honor and respect. We are taught to protect our black women. And you see, the Caucasians have tried their best to do that with their women. They don't want us around their women.
Right.
See? So we must understand that they should stay away from our woman. See? And we're here to make sure that to keep them away from our black women. So, sisters, it's important that you come to know and understand that you are the mothers of civilization. All the other women on the face of the earth come from you. You don't come from them. So it's important that you get a thorough knowledge of yourself and then be yourself. And we don't want our beautiful women trying to act like white women. You see? So all praise is due to Allah for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
That's right. That's why the Honorable Elijah Muhammad talks about Revelations 13 and 18. He said, here is wisdom. Let him have understanding. Count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man. Now, what man acts like a beast in the world? You know, what man has taken a people and beat them and killed them and raped them and robbed them of the pure knowledge of self and of God, to make us think, and make the black man think that they are God, because the God that they put in front of us look just like them.
That's right.
So they kill you on one hand and make you believe in them on the other hand. So they got the whole black nation, over 40 million, confused, brother.
That's right. That's an excellent point. Excellent point, brother.
And just think about the children, how the children are confused. You know, the children come out the door, they can't even go to school now. At least 40 years ago, we could go to school and wouldn't be worried about getting shot. Now, if they leave home, they're not sure they're going to get back.
They had a big demonstration, over 1 million children from schools across America converged on Washington, D.C.
And Washington trying to play that down.
You see?
You know, saying they really don't mean nothing. So they rather have a gun in their possession than to save the life of the children.
Yeah, they, as the messenger taught us, they are the real Satans of the Bible and the shaitans of the Holy Quran.
Yes, sir.
It's important, brothers and sisters, that this is understood clearly. In the book, The Fall of America, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that the destruction of the educational system is the fall of America. So this is going on right before our eyes, brothers and sisters. As you should know and understand that in the Nation of Islam, we have Muhammad University of Islam, established by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad here in America. So it's important that our children get taught a thorough knowledge of themselves, and in that manner, they won't be deceived or tricked by the Caucasian white people in the public school systems all across America. It's important that the babies are taught a thorough knowledge of themselves, and the only place they're going to get that is in the Nation of Islam.
Yes, sir.
Only place they're going to get that is in the Nation of Islam. So we want you to be our guest. Brother Norman and my guest this coming Sunday at 14880 Wyoming. Our services begin at 11 o'clock. You all are invited to come and hear the state representative of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, our brother student minister Troy Muhammad. And come on out and listen at these life-giving teachings, brothers and sisters, because this is the only salvation that we have. That only salvation is found in the Nation of Islam. because Islam comes after all else fails. And we've tried everything as black people here in America. We have tried to be friends with white people. They don't want us. You tried to marry white people. They don't want us. You try to go into business with them. They don't want us.
Right.
You see, but they don't mind you being on a basketball court dribbling a ball, and you getting receiving millions and millions of dollars to entertain them. But if brother put on a suit and tie and briefcase and become president of a corporation, then it's a different thing going on now. You see, so the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that separation is the key. The only way we're going to have any peace of mind and contentment is we're going to have to separate from them. As long as we are integrated with white people, there will be no peace of mind, brothers and sisters. And at this hour, in 2018, it should be no doubt in every black man and woman and child in America that white people do not love us. The time is at hand. The time is at hand. We got to unite.
That's right.
The messenger continues. He says, a well-educated, cultured, and courteous people make a beautiful society when it is spiritual. Good manners come from the civilized man who does not fail to perform his duty. It's clear. It's so clear, Brother Norman.
Yes, sir. And it says,
Tell people.
it says the number of the beast referred to here is a man or people. The only way to know what man or people is to watch and see what man or people compare with the doings and the works symbolic of the beast of Revelations. According to the English language, to call a person a beast is a noun which means violent, a violent person, berserk person, or a demon, or a fiend, or shaitan, or Satan, or dragon, evil spirit, shaitanus, devil, Dalbul, Iblis. All these names are compared to a person or a people that's evil like that.
Yes.
And the only ones that we know that are evil like that is the ones that kidnapped us and our foreparents and brought us to America to make us depend upon them to live,
Yes, sir.
to eat, to drink water. You know, right away they finding out about the water thing in Flint. Now it's come to where it's on the front page of the paper where they're talking about the people that were in charge of the water felt better making money and then cleaning up the water for the black folks. You know, put lead in got lead coming through the water, and black people, babies and children, old people drinking that water, and they get mad because you don't drink that water. That's like that Jim Jones thing with that Kool-Aid, brother.
Right, right.
It's worse than that. He had a few thousand people over there in Guyana, but here they in Flint got 1 million people in Flint, you know, drinking poison water, brother, for $1.
It should be no doubt in the minds of our people, Brother Norman, at this hour, that the Caucasian people are not a righteous people. And the scholars and scientists of Islam define the word of Caucasian as one whose evil and wickedness is not confined to himself alone, but affects others. Listen at that definition. One whose evil and wickedness is not confined to himself alone, but affects others. We are the greatest testimony of that definition, brothers and sisters.
That's right.
Because of how we have been impacted upon by being raised by white people here in America. You see? So we adopt many of their characteristics, and now we are killing each other. Black man raping an elderly woman. These things, we didn't have these type of characteristics. We didn't act like this when we was on amongst ourselves.
They were raping the slave master's children on campus, brother. Following them home, raping them in the hallways of the dorm. You know, all these things are coming about when I hear the news and see the news of the rape, the robbery, and the murders going on, calamities all over the city.
Yes, sir.
Gas station, you leave home, you're not sure you're going to get home, get back, brother.
Judgment Day, brothers and sisters, and we're here on the Journal of Truth, trying to get to you the clear proofs that these people are not a people that we need to be integrated with. Separation is the only key. Now, the separation has got to come here. See, it's got to come in our minds, brothers and sisters, based the evidence, the pure evidence, is what they have done to us.
That's right.
And it is something never to think or try to forget about that. You find the Jewish people didn't forget about the murders of their people and what happened to their people. They have museums that have the information and give them history about those millions of Jews that were killed. And they don't want their future generations to ever forget what happened to them. So never to say, over the years, some of our people will say, well, that was back then when we were slaves. We're not slaves now. Come on, black man and black woman, you wiser than that. You know, you should be much wiser than that. This is why you need to get a copy of this book, Message to the Black Man in America. The messenger continues. He says, there are several civilizations. We have a wicked one, and we have a righteous one. It is a righteous civilization that is in the workings now. We have been well trained into the wicked civilization. Now we must be trained into the knowledge of the righteous one. We must have a righteous, trained, civilized man who will not fail to perform his duty to us in guiding and teaching us. Now, this is the Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Yes, sir.
He is the one that began to teach us a thorough knowledge of ourselves. And you see the evidence when you see your Muslim brothers and sisters. We are the same brothers and sisters that come through the various things that each of you have gone through, or in fact are going through now. But the teachings of Islam has made us to love ourselves in such manner that we want to throw off the evil and wickedness that has been put upon us by our association with white people here in America.
That's right. That's why the Honorable Elijah Muhammad says in the fall of America, he said, we, black people, are no longer babies. We are babies to no one except God himself. You are fast learning that you are not babies anymore, but on the rise up from the dead, knowledge of black self and others. You are learning fast that Allah God is fast creating in us a new way of thinking. For the way in which we had been thinking was a way of untruth and in an unseemly way of understanding. America is a country where evil is dominated, and the people in America thinking nothing but evil. It is very seldom that you can talk to a person without getting the thought quickly that their mind is filled with evil. Now, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad wrote that in the fall of America, brother.
Yes, sir.
A few years ago. But it's coming about today, and it's been teaching us and telling us there's a new way of thinking. So when people see the Muslims, they don't talk like they used to talk. They don't walk like they used to walk. They don't look like they used to look. That's a new way of thinking. And you might not believe it, but if you believe in God, you say we say God is a man who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. Then you thought Jesus was God.
That's right.
And he was a man. He was a white man.
That's right.
And you thought he was God. You know? So you made us think that he was a white man hanging on a cross with long hair, stringy hair, half naked. So we wanted to be just like him. We combed our hair, got stringy hair, we're hanging on the cross, raggedy. White man said, don't do this. Don't. He said, yes, sir. Because we thought we were talking to God until God really came and gave us the knowledge of who we were. Original black man, you know.
That's right.
And a whole new way of thinking. and you get mad because we don't think like you think anymore?
Good point, Brother Norman. We are your brothers. And what you have gone through, we have gone through.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? We all here in America as the slaves of the white man. And we've been their slaves since 1555. So this has been passed on from generation to generation, slavery, brothers and sisters.
Yes, sir.
I have read to you many times from the book of Exodus, the 21st chapter, the 16th verse, about slavery. Is talking about slavery and what God would do to those who enslaved another people, who stealeth of people and selleth of people. It's talking about that in the Bible. They're in the book of Exodus, but because of the guidance of the white man, we jump right to the New Testament of Jesus. But why would you start reading a book in the middle? You know, that's not a thing that we should do. Why don't you start reading it from the beginning there in the book of Genesis, and it's coming right in saying that we have been made in the image and created in the image and the likeness of God.
Right.
Well, if you a man, brother, then that means God got to be a man. He can't be a spook or a spirit if we made in his image and likeness. If I ask you to bring me the image and likeness of this microphone, you going to bring me another microphone. It may be smaller, right? Or it could be larger, but it's going to be a microphone because it's created in the image and likeness of the other mic. You see, if the image and likeness of this table, you bring another one looking like this. So we want you to give up this slavery making and teachings about this God being something other than a man, brothers and
That's right.
sisters. He's a man, and we one of the greatest understandings of that is those of us that have children, and when your babies, and when they have problems and troubles, they call on mama and daddy.
That's right.
They don't never say nothing about God.
That's right.
So where's God? They talking to mama and daddy. That's God to your babies.
That's
They
right.
know. But when we grow up in America, then they teach us God is something other than a human being. See, and it's very confusing, and it'll have you walking around waiting for a spook to bring you bread, brothers and sisters. See, we don't do that. We don't believe in such
And
things.
when your wife deliver you a son, he's made in your image.
That's right.
He said, boy, look just like you.
That's
So
right.
he was made in your image. God made him in your image. So you have to think about it, and he's a man.
That's right.
Your son's a young man.
That's right.
So you have to think about how God created him in your wife to produce him for you, to look just like you so you can go on to another generation.
That's right. That's right. It's clear. We want to invite you every Thursday. We're meeting at 13560 McNichols. Is on the east side of the city near Gratiot, and at the Matrix Human Services Center. And let's change the world. We want you all to be our guests there. You
And-
see? Go ahead, Brother Norman.
And everybody that show up, we're going to give you $5. Now, I know you want $5 to hear some truth. They see what unity can do. Come out to the Matrix Center
Yes, sir. For
Thursday,
sure.
the
That's
29th
right.
of this month,
That's right.
and get $5.
Come on, 7 o'clock, brothers and sisters. And we will have food there also.
Food and $5?
Yeah, I'm going to show up myself. Brother.
Look at that, bro. What a blessing. What a blessing.
So, brothers and sisters, we want to thank you for tuning in to the Journal of Truth. We want you to stay tuned for the Journal of Truth on 88.1 FM on your radio dial, where we continue these life-giving teachings. We hope and pray that Almighty God, Allah, blesses each and every one of us to see, to hear, and to understand the life-giving teachings of Messenger Elijah Muhammad, being continued today by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, whose state representative is our great brother, student minister Troy Muhammad. Thank you for listening as we greet you in peace. Assalamu alaikum.
Hey, can I talk to you for a minute?